My wife whispered at dinner, "I'm in love with someone else." I said, "Good to know." That night, I pulled $72,500, killed the house deal, and moved out. 3 days later, her new man called me begging for help. I'm Daniel, 36. I work in cybersecurity, decent income, boring on paper, but I like my ducks in a row. Credit 800 plus. No debt I can't explain, backups of my backups. I don't flex, I prepare. My wife, now ex, is Lena, 32. We met when she was juggling a barista job and a master's in marketing. What hooked me wasn't the latte art, it was the grind. She wanted her own boutique agency one day. I respected that enough to support it, emotionally, practically, financially. Over 8 years together, 5 married, I paid down her old cards, covered rent when clients ghosted, and eventually invested $72,500 into her launch. Not a gift. An investment with paperwork. I was the numbers guy. She was the pitch deck with glitter. About a year ago she started eyeing a house. Big windows, open kitchen, quiet street. She said she wanted the deed in her name because it's symbolic. I didn't fight the symbolism. I just made sure the loan had both names and that the underwriter loved one of those names a whole lot more than mine. 6 months ago the drift began. More client dinners, girls' weekends that left Friday morning and came home Monday night, new dresses that never appeared around me. The phone started sleeping face down. I'm not jealous. I am observant. Then last Tuesday, we're eating reheated pasta, no tension, no build-up, when she sets her fork down and says, like she's telling me the forecast, "I'm in love with someone else." I finished chewing, drank some water, looked up. Good to know. Her mouth twitched. That wasn't the scene she'd rehearsed. There was no yelling, no begging, no "we can work through this." I cleared the plates. She said she'd stay with a friend for space. I said sure. What she didn't know, I already knew who. A branding workshop mentor named Adrienne, older, divorced, Instagram bio that read, "I capture rare souls," red flag wrapped in a poem. I hadn't confronted her when I first saw their emails. She'd left her laptop open. I don't swing until I've measured the punch. That night, once she left with an overnight bag, I sat at my desk, opened the legal taxes folder, and started the extraction. And that was just the first domino. Our offer wasn't closed yet, pre-approval in place, appraisal penciled in, and a lender who liked my balance sheet. I called the broker at 8:01 a.m. "We've had a change in circumstance. Please remove me from the file." No drama. No monologue. Just a sentence. Without my credit and income, Lena's uneven self-employed history wasn't cutting it. By lunch, pre-approval withdrawn. Listing went back active. Somewhere across town she probably Instagram storied an oat milk latte with new beginnings. Meanwhile the beginning called and said, "Actually, no. You can't hang a chandelier from thin air." That's $72,500. I didn't Venmo it with a heart emoji. I had a signed convertible agreement with a pre-launch withdrawal clause. She skimmed it months ago and signed. My attorney didn't skim anything. I exercised the clause. Emailed the payment processor and the 2 vendors tied to my funds. The money was returned to source. Not stolen, mine, documented, very legal. Suppliers paused orders. A print batch froze mid-run. Her Trello board went red. Empires look impressive, until someone asked who was holding the scaffolding. She was on my employer health plan as a domestic partner. I updated dependents, effective immediately. I also removed her as an authorized user on the 2 cards in my name. I didn't touch her accounts. I removed her access to mine. Basic adulting. No safety net. Welcome to Earth's gravity. By day 2, a mutual friend texted, "Hey, Lena says you're not taking her calls." "Everything okay?" I replied. "Everything's fine." Which, for me, was true. By day 3, I'd packed a bag, forwarded my mail to a PO box, and moved into a furnished month-to-month on the other side of town. I didn't slam doors. I didn't leave a note. I just left. Then an unknown number called. I let it hit voicemail, then pressed play. It was him. Mr. Rare Soul. He tried to sound calm and landed somewhere between breathless and begging. Apparently Lena had been sobbing for 2 days, spiraling, accusing him of ruining her life, reconsidering everything. He asked if I could be the bigger person and help her stabilize, maybe let her come back for a while. Return to sender, wrong address. I didn't call back. That evening the doorbell cam at the old place pinged. There she was in my old hoodie, crying on the porch. She sat. She left. At midnight, I made a mistake. He's not who I thought. Please talk to me. We can fix this. There wasn't anything to fix. I hadn't broken anything. I'd simply stopped holding it together. Then the bang, police at 9:06 a.m. Knock at the door of the new rental, 2 officers. A domestic situation report. She'd told them I'd stolen her money and locked her out of our house. I showed the emails from the lender, pre-approval rescinded. I showed the investment agreement and the executed withdrawal clause. I showed the card accounts with me as owner and her as removed authorized user. Sir, the older officer said, eyebrows a little higher now. This is civil. Lawyers, not police, they radioed back. I heard her voice tinny through static. The younger cop worked very hard not to smile. They left with a polite warning. Don't destroy her belongings. I said they were boxed and labeled in the garage at the old address, safe, dry, and ready for pickup by anyone who could lift. It's wild how fast people say ours when they mean yours. She arrived in a caravan. Lena, her new man Adrian, who suddenly looked 10 years older, her mother Deidre, a career martyr, and her sister Qley, who documents human suffering for TikTok clicks. Deidre led with volume. Qley led with a ring light. Adrian kept adjusting his watch like he'd rather be anywhere else. Lena tried tears first, then fury, then bargaining. They demanded I let her in to get her things. I told them everything was boxed in the garage, documented, labeled, and timestamped on video. Qley filmed anyway. Financial abuse. She captioned, cute. Adrian tried to carry out a Dyson vacuum. I handed him the receipt with my name. Enjoy your broom, champ. They pivoted to the house. I told them the lender had pulled the file at noon yesterday. Deidre called me heartless. I said I was many things, but a bank was not one of them. Lena's card got declined at the U-Haul for the van. Adrian paid. His face looked like regret with a side of math. They loaded. They left. I went inside and made coffee. By morning, Lena launched a social media campaign. I was a controlling narcissist. She had escaped, and I was ruining her life out of spite. Deidre shared it with a paragraph that ended in 14 exclamation points. Qley added dramatic music and a cry filter. Problem: I work in cybersecurity. My best friend Ravi is better. 6 hours later he handed me metadata and screenshots from a cloud backup Lena apparently forgot about. Months of messages with Adrian. Arranging hotel rooms on client travel. Mocking my boring stability. Planning to put the house solely in her name because optics. My favorite line was hers. Once the house is mine, I can pivot without a messy divorce. You can pivot all you want. Banks pivot harder. I posted 3 screenshots, cropped to remove anything gratuitous, with timestamps, no commentary, just receipts. Her narrative vaporized in half a day. Even an "and I've never met" commented, "This aged like milk." Adrian went quiet online. Deidre posted a Bible verse with a typo. Qley deleted her video. Lena switched her account to private. Internet PR is easy when only your side is speaking. It's much harder when truth has a microphone. When people lose control, they escalate. 1. Lena's dad phoned my boss to say I was harassing his daughter. My boss said he was fully briefed and invited him to stop calling the company, politely. 2. Lena tried the old key at the old house at 2:43 a.m. Ringcam caught everything. She claimed she needed her grandmother's bracelet. Grandma is alive and wearing it to bingo every Thursday. 3. She filed an emergency claim for financial abuse. My attorney sent the signed agreement, the lender email, and the dependent removal policy. Case closed before lunch. 4. Adrian's mother Susan called me. Where do they find my number? To ask that I be a real man and take responsibility by taking Lena back while Adrian regroups. Paraphrasing, please be my son's consequences sponge. I asked if she heard herself. She said, when you put it like that, it sounds bad. It is bad. That's the point. By midweek, word reached me that 2 suppliers had blacklisted Lena's company for non-payment risk. Her co-founder quit and updated LinkedIn with a paragraph about choosing integrity. I didn't clap. I ordered more coffee pots. We had our first hearing. No white dress, thank God, but she did wear something that said networking brunch, not court. Her lawyer argued she was under emotional duress, that Adrian manipulated her, and that my withdrawals were retaliatory. My attorney stood, voice like a Windows update, slow, inevitable, impossible to cancel, and laid out the investment agreement with the withdrawal clause, the lender email with the rescission, the authorized user removal logs, and a small stack of printed messages, dates, times, locations about hotel rooms, the house symbolism, and how boring stability would make it easy to transition. The judge skimmed, then looked at Lena's lawyer. Counsel, your client wrote, once the deed is in my name, I can pivot without a messy divorce. Please explain the pivot. Silence. A cough. Paper shuffling. The judge granted a temporary order. Property, mine. Investment, returned. Insurance, not my problem. As to spousal support, none. The only thing Lena got was her boxes and her car still on payments. We set a date to finalize. The judge added, like he was ordering lunch, do not contact him except through counsel. On the way out, Deidre muttered that I was stealing from her baby. Qley tried to glare while opening the front camera. Adrian didn't show. I went back to work. Lena moved in with her parents. Her company dissolved officially. Her website domain expired. A new ad for a social media manager appeared with an uncanny resemblance to her old brand, but the LLC belonged to someone else. Adrian picked up a part-time workshop gig in a co-op space and posted a black and white selfie with the caption rebuilding. Nothing like rebuilding a sandcastle at low tide. Susan stopped calling. Deidre pivoted to inspirational Facebook graphics. Qley posted about cutting out negativity to heal. Last week I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. It was Lena. She wrote, I didn't think it would be this hard. I thought you'd always be there. I typed I know. I didn't send it. I let the bubble disappear. Because here's the thing. I was always there. Until I wasn't. The life she built assumed I'd always be the foundation. She forgot foundations can also walk away. I adopted a dog, learned to make a decent risotto, hike more, sleep well, and the funny part, I never raised my voice, never posted revenge. I didn't ruin her life. I stopped funding the version where I was the unpaid pillar. Gravity did the rest. The lender sent a holiday card addressed to both of us, sloppy database work. I mailed it to Lena's parents with a sticky note, in case you still need symbolism. Ravi framed the pre-approval rescission email like people frame diplomas. It's on his office wall under the caption, remove yourself from the load-bearing wall. I heard through someone's cousin that Adrian now refers to that period as his learning era. Aha. Lena, to her credit, picked up retail hours and freelancing gigs. That's not a dig, it's reality. Hustle is honorable when you're actually the one hustling. Last weekend I bumped into Deidre at a grocery store. She looked tired. She told me, unprompted, that Lena is trying and that maybe you two could become friends again someday. I said, politely, I don't think she's the kind of friend I need. At checkout, the cashier asked if I wanted to donate to a pet shelter. I said yes. The universe has a sense of humor. People ask if I regret being cold. Nah. Cold is controlled. Cold is clean. Rage burns you. Calm lets you hold the pen. If you're ever in my position, you don't have to torch anything. Just step out. If you are the only thing keeping it standing, you'll be amazed how fast it learns to fall. And if you're Adrian, or the next Adrian, if someone is brave enough to quietly leave your disaster intact, let them. Begging their help makes you look like you're returning a broken appliance inside the 30-day window. The only line I actually sent to Lena, months ago, when lawyers finalized everything, was this: I hope you build something real, this time with your own materials. She didn't reply. I fed the dog, took a walk, slept like a stone, as the result. House, relisted, sold above ask to a couple who actually had financing. Money, back in my account. I redirected a chunk into an index fund labeled disaster proofing. Legal, finalized, clean split, no ongoing obligations. Me, alive, quietly happy, not dramatic. Her, not my story anymore. If you read this far, you probably wanted blood. This isn't blood, it's paperwork. It's the click of a lock and the calm of a door that doesn't open anymore. Sometimes the best revenge is no longer being in the room where they expected you to stay and clap. Cool.